I would be lying if I said I was not deeply concerned about all this. Setting this group into this investigation is both reckless and dangerous. However, I feel I have little choice. If this Kruger Hoffman is truly an innocent man and I just let him go, it's all been for nothing. The last few years, the sacrifices we've made, all go up in smoke. Getting a single man into the Nuln cell took so much time and, well, seems to have cost that man his life. The Purple Hand are insidious in how they operate. We managed to bring down a whole cell in Null, and for what? Its leader just runs away, and the cult simply continues elsewhere. One of its leaders, anyway. I'm risking a lot by staying here and seeing this investigation through to its end. I'm technically disobeying orders. I'm supposed to be back in Ebersreich as soon as possible to oversee matters there as envoy. But it's quite a mess down there. Far too many messes in the Empire lately. I need to at least feel I can clean up this one. So I'm going to have to rely on this strange little group. I pray to Sigmar I have not made a terrible mistake. This is Red Moon Roleplay. The festival is in full sway. Thousands of people in the city of Middenheim are heading to several events, as well as having their own little parties at pretty much every tavern, restaurant, or guild house in the city. Sigfreda, you have been making your way through these crowds by yourself. It's been a while since you've genuinely been by yourself in a city, but it has happened. It takes time to get back to that old market district. Again, there are a lot of crowds and a lot of traffic, but eventually you will make your way there. How are you feeling as you are almost living a normal life for an hour? Just a normal person walking along the streets with plenty of people around you having a very good time.
You know, it feels good. I've got some apprehensions about the depth of the con we're planning on setting up and the potential that members of the Purple Hand could be watching me and members of the Black Chamber could be watching me and who knows who else might be watching me. That's always going to be there ever since we started on this journey. There's rarely been a peaceful night's sleep, but right now it's difficult to not get caught up in the general happiness that exists in Middenheim right now. People are out for the festival. They're buying these sweet-smelling treats, and they're buying new clothes, and they're trying new things, and they're going on rides, and they're watching performances, and the sounds of laughter, the shouts of surprise. It's difficult to not get caught up in that. And while I'm not a ebullient or anything nearly quite so extreme, I am okay. And that's enough.
Well, eventually you find yourself back in the Alt Market District. There are a lot of stores here today. You can taste in the air sausage and ham and honeyed meats, as well as a few other interesting little sweet-based confectionery goods. There are a lot of stalls here. But there are also several large buildings and businesses. This is a market district, you think, primarily. And there is that kennel you saw the other day. The Ekzana House. A fine, sturdy-looking building. You notice it has large walls as well. You think there's something behind the building, but you can't see what they are, because the walls are very, very tall, with fine iron spikes. There's a couple of holes. The holes as well are spiked and fenced off, but there might be windows, but they're a bit low for you. And again, the whole building seems quite fortress-like, really, except of course for the very nice double doors at the front.
Well, I will take that to mean that the dogs here are prized animals, and we don't just want thieves breaking in through the back and lifting them over the wall. Either that, or these dogs have got quite some jump on them. But then again, you wouldn't want to impale your own dog, would you? I think on this as I enter.
You find yourself in a reasonable foyer. Again, it's not the fanciest you've been in. For a moment, your heart skips a beat as you see a desk, but there's no one there right now. You do see two dogs standing quite alert as you come in and sniffing the air, but they don't move or do anything. And as you come in, a bell rings, and you look up and see that's operated by the door, and someone walks in. They are a very fine-dressed woman, perhaps in their 50s or 60s, tight grey hair, red jerkin. They have what looks like a bunch of keys on one side of their belt and a bunch of whistles on the other. And they step in front of the desk, look you over. Good day, how can I help? Yes, who are you? Wasn't expecting any appointments today.
I look her over. Well, you're different from most of the people I encounter around desks. I'm here to purchase a dog for defense. And I have coin, and I suppose that's all that really matters.
She walks around the desk, begins flipping through a book with several names and notes. And yet, no appointment.
No, I am a new arrival in Middenheim, and upon hearing the reputation of this wonderful kennels, truly everyone who's spoken to me about it has done nothing but sing the praises of the way you rear these and train these animals. I had to come in. I have gold.
Well, I'm very glad you have gold. My dogs aren't for free. I'm simply stating that already you're off to a bad start. I expect punctual people who respect others' time, and you so far haven't. However, it is the festival. And we all need to be... we all must honour others. You're not from here, are you? That accent. Are you a Reichlander by any chance? Somewhere in that area?
Well, what a fine ear you have for accents, and... You're right. People should be punctual, but as I say, I have only just arrived, and I come here with gold that I am prepared to spend.
No need to keep repeating you have gold, dear. That's the least of my concerns. I respect people as people. What exactly are you looking for? You said a dog for defense. How many? You looking for a hunting pack?
I think a pack might be quite unwieldy. 1, 2 at most.
She looks over some notes. She frowns. She looks a little disapproving of you.
I fold my arms and I huff.
She raises an eyebrow at that, but then looks back down at her notes. We might have something. How many dogs have you had before?
Oh, none.
None?
No, this is a pioneering enterprise for me. I'm really quite excited. I'm looking forward to owning my first dog, or pair, and part of the reason I've come here is because of the reputation you have got for training them so well, as I've already made clear. I had no idea, honestly, that there was so much paperwork involved in the selling of animals.
I see. Again, it is the festival, so I'll explain. This isn't just any kennel you walked into, dear. You said yourself, this is the finest kennel in the city, and I am one of the finest kennel masters, Bertha Waldhaus, so forgive me if I'm... There is some paperwork, yes. I do not just give my dogs to anyone. You've never owned a dog before. Do you actually know how to look after them? They require an awful lot of work. My dogs, not just any dog, again. 2 walks a day, sufficient diet and exercise, a home, shelter, affection. I'm giving you a companion, possibly, today, madam. One who could die for you. I expect the same in return. She smiles at that.
I understand. I smile. Completely. And of course... everything you've just listed is totally reasonable. Walking, feeding, affection, dying for the dog or dogs. I understand that. And I would be prepared to put my name on whatever piece of paper you require to prove that. And then, once I have ownership of this dog or dogs, I will... remove them from here, and your responsibility for their upkeep will be concluded.
Incorrect. As long as you're in my city, madam, if I find out that my dogs are being used for anything nefarious, or if you are mistreating them in any way, I'll have your head. She smiles.
Wherever I go, it does seem people are watching my every footstep and action.
Well, if you are a law-abiding citizen of the Empire, why would that be a problem? Now then, let's see. What
does mean?
If you wish to leave my property, you can go. The door's right there.
No, I'm just wondering if it is something... You see, I've never owned a dog before. Is it a noise you make when speaking to animals, or just people that you dislike?
You're clearly a comedian. Reichlanders are known for their love of comedy. I am not interested in that. Are you going to let me do my job, or not?
Oh, please, I am waiting for you to start.
She sniffs. She looks down. We did have a fine hound whose owner, well, would-be owner, did meet a fatal accident on the road not just a week past. They therefore are out of... Well, we will be not able to house the dog anytime soon, but they were for such a similar purpose. I'm going to go fetch them. Have a seat. Make yourself comfortable, madam.
I will. Imagine if they had been more punctual. Perhaps they would have had their dog.
They would have indeed. She goes off. A few moments later she returns, leash in hand, with a dog on the other end walking along. This dog is snow white, bar a few black speckles on their nose and on their ears. They sit down with a swift command. The woman briefly leans down and ruffles the dog's neck and ears before gently kissing it on the forehead, and then stands up. This is Erica. Erica, say hello. Erica begins moving forwards and eagerly sniffing you. What do you do, Sigfreda?
I will allow the dog to sniff. I am not some hater of animals, or I'm not going to recoil in horror or anything like that. I do have some skill in animal handling, or at least an intuition for it. So I play the part, and I do it sincerely. If the dog is curious about me, I will lower myself to the dog's level. I will give its head a stroke. Sometimes owners of dogs would enter the apothecary where I worked when I was little, and they would bring their hounds in with them, much to my master's chagrin, but I had more in common with the animals than I did with the people. So, yeah, I give Erica the affection that I feel is due without going overboard. Oh, what a lovely dog!
The dog woofs at you in a non-aggressive manner, begins trying to lick your face and hands.
Ah, see? I look at the Lady Bertha. See? A bond already.
You're lucky. She seems to like you. That does get you back some points.
Well, I hate to imagine what she might have done if she didn't. Those look like sharp teeth in that mouth.
She can, if required, injure a person or two. Keep in mind, my hounds are not war hounds. They do better in packs, really. But if push comes to shove, and you're in danger, she will attempt to defend you. Like I said, I expect the same in return.
Of course, I've already fallen in love with her. I think she's everything I could want.
Remember, your house must have some good shelter, some good grounds for her to exercise in. 2 proper meals a day. You can spoil her, but I wouldn't recommend it all the time for her health. And, of course, walks.
Well, I'm a doctor, so I know something about diet, and no, I will not be overfeeding her no matter how lovely she is, and I stroke her. I find it very difficult to sound sincere when speaking to this person, or indeed anyone in, it seems, bureaucracy or service, but I do actually mean it. She is a nice, affectionate dog, the kind of dog I'm looking for. And I would hate to put her in danger, and I would certainly hate for her to risk her life for me, or for me to have to risk my life for her. But that is part of my reason for buying her. I'm not just buying a pet.
The woman looks you over again, and her next sentence does seem slightly more amicable. Well, it is the festival, and we must all try and be better on days like this, mustn't we? 4 gold crowns, then.
4?
4, yes.
How much would she cost outside of the festival?
5.
And how much of a down payment had the prior owner, who was unable to collect her, already paid you?
None. I took them at their word. I'm a woman who takes people at their word.
Ah, well, in that case, I read you wrong. 4 gold crowns it is. I'm prepared to go without further negotiation. She is a wonderful dog.
She is. She is. She will be missed, as I miss all my dogs.
Is it true that in these kennels, as I hand the coins over, the kennel masters pour all their best, I guess, what would you say, attributes into the dogs that they rear?
I'd like to hope so.
I smile at her. Well, I do hope you get them back someday. Thank you so much for Erica. I will treat her like a member of my family, which is to say... Well, actually, that's probably a bad thing to say for me. I think for a while, and I just go back to stroking Erica. I will raise her as you have commanded, Miss Bertha, and I promise you, I will not put her in the way of any unnecessary harm.
Well, if you actually are sincere, then that is all I want, madam.
I am a doctor, as I've already established, so should we come to speak again, I would prefer that as a title. Anyway, I will take Erica then. May I keep the lead? You wouldn't want her running off as soon as we left, would you?
She nods and hands you the lead and extends a hand for the money. As you're doing so, you hear the bell go again as someone else comes in. Do you look in that direction, or are you too focused on your new friend?
Well, Erica is lovely, but I do have to maintain some awareness of sudden purple hand attacks, so I will look up.
Well, if this is the purple hand, they're certainly upgrading their stance and style, because this individual is very finely dressed. They have very long, dark hair. They are very tall. They have on their back a bow, not just a short bow either, but a masterwork bow. You've never seen anything quite like it. They are wearing fine green clothing, leather armor, green traveling cloak and boots, and their features are, well, you're almost reminded a little of Heinrich for a second. They have the same sort of chiseled looks he has, but it's slightly softer. And then, of course, there are the long, pointed ears. This is an elf, and you have to admit, you've never actually seen an elf this close. You've seen a few in Altdorf, if you remember. There were some in the crowd, and you've seen a few around here, but they're always quite far away. They never were seen where you lived. And here's one. How you feel? They look very odd.
I will try not to gawk like some common idiot. But I imagine I do have to consciously close my mouth, because, yeah, elves, people of folklore more than reality. Obviously they exist, we know they exist, but how often do you actually get to see one up close, in the same building at that? Not on a stage at a distance, or carved from marble, or something like that. I will try to act like this is fine.
He looks in your direction. He looks at the young dog. He comes over and leans down to pet it on the head. The dog immediately begins barking happily and wagging its tail and trying to lick him as well, and he lets this happen with a very, very light chuckle. And you hear the woman say, Master Van Maris, wasn't expecting you today. Oh, No worry, Frau Walters. I was merely popping by. I'd heard a rumour that you had some dogs available. I was seeing if that was still true. Oh, forgive me, Master. That one, sadly, well, this young lady has just purchased it. Oh, is that so? My loss, then. Greetings. Avandral Famaris. A pleasure to meet you.
Yes. I am... You are quite a specimen.
The elf smiles. My thanks for your words. They bring me gladness. And it seems this one has found a companion in you. Good. You know, animals such as this, they know things more than us. They have a keen sense of character and spirit. You clearly are rich in both.
Oh, well, thank you for your assessment. I'm sorry, I completely missed your name. I must have been away with the fairies, if that isn't an offensive thing to say.
No offence at all, and forgive me my manners. Yes, Alavandro Famaris, the master of the hunt, for the Graf.
Oh, and that is why you are looking to purchase dogs.
Indeed. He is quite fond of the hunt, and I make sure his hounds are some of the finest. But, well, this one is no longer available, and, well, sadly the Graf has not been so into his hunts as of late. It is... well, I should not speak of such things.
No, please, we're among friends. I look at Bertha.
She nods and just looks at you and mutters, yes, this is the master of the hunt of the Graf's court.
And I am setting myself up for a fall. I am Lady Wittgenstein. Marguerite Wittgenstein of Wittgendorf.
Ah, a pleasure. I have not heard of those lands, but it is an honour to meet you, Lady Wittgenstein.
Oh, they are petty and trifling and riddled with disease, but I felt like if I had not introduced myself properly, I would have seemed like some ignorant peasant.
Well, there is no harm in that. After all are equal in my eyes, at least.
Well, that is a rare attitude.
It is not so rare among my people, but yes, among yours I think it is slightly. Although I confess my people have their own faults.
Well, don't we all? I think I need to get some fresh air, if any of the air out there is fresh, with Erica.
I don't suppose you'll be attending any of the archery tournament?
I may be able to convince some of my friends who are better with bows than I am to attend. I assume you will be there?
Of course. I'm hoping to win.
Judging by the... looking at the bulge of your tricep, the bulge of your bicep, and the bulge... Looking at the strength of your bow, sir.
You are at a loss of words.
I imagine you will easily master whatever archery tournament is put on, but nevertheless, some of my friends are keen for good competition, and it would be a delight to make your acquaintance again, if our paths should cross.
Of course, I'm sure we will meet again. I will be often at the archery tournaments, or if not, in the company of my good friends.
Well, good. I sort of curtsy and bow and sort of turn a little. I'm not really sure what you do around elves, and then walk out before I can embarrass myself even more, and then remember I've got a dog, and go back in, attach my lead. But until next time, thank you for the dog.
The kennel master nods, and this elf just gives you a very, very dramatic bow. Very skillfully, though. Indeed. May your days be good and well, and the gods bless you.
And yours.
He smiles at that. Yes, you do think he said the gods bless you. Like, oh god, elves have different gods, right? Oh, you think you're not quite sure. It's all very confusing.
I finally breathe once I'm outside.
Indeed. And as you exit the kennels, you find a lovely companion now looking up at you quizzically.
Well, Erica, I think I've just entered womanhood.
And so a few hours will pass before you find yourselves back in the safety of your chambers at the Templar's Arms. That was, after all, where you all agreed to meet again. It is now slowly approaching the afternoon. Already it's been quite a busy day. Again, largely due to the amount of traffic on the streets. It is slowing you down. But you have at least achieved some things. When you return to the room, Kruger and Heinrich, there is a new individual there. A very nice, fine dog. White fur, black speckle on the nose. As you come in, there is a little bit of a bark. What do you do, Sigfreda? It seems your new friend already is very protective.
It's all right, girl. These are friends. Get used to their smells. They won't ever go away.
The dog immediately, quite surprisingly, just nods. Almost. It's a dog, it can't nod, surely, but it almost looks like a nod, as it just goes back to sitting by the bed.
Ooh, I love dogs. I sort of go down on one knee close to it, like letting it get to know me.
Her name is Erica.
Oh, Erica. Oh, you're such a cute dog.
I thought this was mostly a joke. I thought we were just passing the... Oh, okay.
No, I know, I'm not a huge supporter of giving animals human names, but she is a beautiful creature. And speaking of beautiful creatures, you'll never guess what I saw, who I saw today, who basically invited you to compete against him in an archery tournament. The Master of the Hunt, an elven lord. An actual elf.
An actual lord?
Well, that too. But I've never seen one up close, and I don't know. I know this sounds entirely sheltered and ignorant and probably horribly offensive. But by the gods, you need to compete in the archery tournament. Put away the guns. Get a bow.
Are you asking as my friend Sigfreda, who is in need of money or a scam, or
I'm actually not doing too badly in terms of my gold. This dog cost a little more than I expected, but still, I hear the prices in days before were ridiculous. I just think both of you, you need to do something that allows you to enjoy yourselves. Flex your muscles. It will show to the people here that you are competent and, well, more than competent, that you're champions.
I think it's fair to say that I don't need to pass an intuition check to see what Sigfreda's game is here.
No, you do not.
Uh-huh. And something that allows you to enjoy yourself, I see.
Well, I like a fine display of archery as much as anyone.
Oh, then I will be happy to put one on for you. Playing along completely. I'm not going to put Sigfreda on the spot, but making zero effort to hide that I am definitely teasing her right now.
And so, what do you think, Kruger? This is all interesting news, but of course you think you have more interesting news.
I certainly do, and I will share what we learned from Alfric to the both of them. I don't know how much Heinrich actually heard of everything that he said. I spent a lot of coin to get this information, but I think it might be worth it. I think we have some leads of some folks who we should, investigate to see if they might lead us to, this corrupt official in the commission.
Indeed, and Sigfreda, they relay everything to you.
As well as, of course, the information about this forgery that we are planning. It seems like they might be able to do it, but apparently the man needs to be involved, this low king. So, we need to go there tomorrow, he says, and I guess introduce ourselves and explain further what it is that we want, but it seems like it's going to be possible to do. Probably going to ask for quite a lot of money, but then again, if you become a noble, money's not really going to be an issue, will it?
Well, I think nobles find it easier to have credit extended to them.
Plus, you get to tax the population.
Well, I'll try not to do that too punishingly. I've really not thought about the governance of Wittgendorf since... I mean, most thoughts have fled my head, but yeah, it's even more imperative now that that this title is assured. Various things that were said. Anyway, I would be more than happy to meet this Low King and pay the price to get officially enshrined as a Wittgenstein. I mean, I've got no name. Wittgenstein's as good as any other. It's a shame I'll be becoming Marguerite, but that's all, trivial details. The fact of the matter is, you have pushed things a step forward. All I've got is this admittedly very lovely dog.
And it's such a cute dog, I say, and I begin trying to play with it.
Yes, she is, isn't she? She is a good dog.
Erica seems to be very happy to get all the attention everyone's giving her, walking around the room and wagging her tail quite a lot. So, the three of you have shared your information. It is now approaching, by this point, the late afternoon. Day 1 of the festival, perhaps starting to, come to an end for you lot, although you would be aware there's evening entertainments as well. But yes, what will you do? You could simply enjoy the rest of your evening and get ready for the next day. You could do something now, but it would occur to you that a lot of official places start closing around this time of day.
There is, however, this matter of the servants that are going to the Alt Quarter.
Yes.
That would be something to look into.
It would be, although, where would you start? You could obviously just go down to the Alt Quarter and ask for some rumours, but, that might get you stabbed. Especially at this time of day. But you could find out something.
Well, I do owe Erica a walk. We had our walk here. I've not given her a second one. So I'm happy to head down to the Old Quarter. People might look at me a little strange walking a dog down there, but at the same time they may be less inclined to stab us.
Yes. So the question is, do we go directly there, or should we head to the building that this High Chancellor is in, and then try to follow someone who might be leaving from there?
I can't imagine we'd have much luck wandering the Alt Quarter, wondering who the servant is. We don't know what they look like.
That's very accurate, very true.
Yeah, well, it might be good anyways to scope out this location and see if there's perhaps anything else that we can learn by observing what's going on there. Perhaps purple hands walking around, or probably not.
I crouch back down next to Erica, and that's the problem with you, isn't it, Erica? You're a little too obvious. We'll be taking you around and everyone will be saying, who are those 3 people following the High Chancellor with the gleaming white dog? We're going to have to get you a bit dirty, aren't we?
The dog happily barks in response to this.
I'm happy following the Chancellor. Or all of us. Obviously, we're not going to walk around as a clump, because, yes, Erica will stand out a little.
There is only one problem as you get your plan in action, Kruger. You don't know where the High Chancellor would be, or where they live.
Ask a tout on a street corner.
Yeah, we'd be able to find that out, surely.
Certainly. You go, you outside, plenty of people, you find a fine drunken man, and of course he informs you, well, of course he knows where he lives, in the palace.
Oh, I had every intention of gossiping my way somewhere. And then when push comes to shove, if Sigfreda is intent on being Lady Wittgenstein, then it's only right that Lady Wittgenstein take a walk with her fantastic dog and her bodyguard, and her other bodyguard lurking nearby. And that should get us exactly where we need to go, right?
Indeed. Well, feel free to make a gossip roll.
One of these days I'm gonna remember to ask to roll things I'm good at, instead of just letting the first words come out of my head. I'm going to have to spend a point of, I believe, fortune is the oopsie try again one.
Yes.
Because that was 25 over. Second one better. That's 31 under 35. So just barely.
You ask around after being, of course, told immediately the most obvious answer. You're then informed, well, I mean, I think they obviously would be at the Guild of Legalists a lot, wouldn't they? And the courthouses. But yes, they live at the palace.
Well, of course they live at the palace, but...
The Graf's palace, yes.
Well, yeah, but I mean, surely when they need to get out from under the pressure and their duties, there's got to be a special a bar notable for that type, or perhaps a theater.
Oh, goodness me, the Councillor Sparsman at a bar at her age? Ha! No, she's a very stuffy woman, from what I've heard. Although she does seem to have an interest in the opera, of course, I've heard, or antiques.
Oh, a stuffy woman. I'm sorry, are we talking about the same? And what I'd like to do is I'm going to present a totally fictitious person with the hope that this person corrects me and says, oh no, they look like this, and they're this person.
Yes, well, that works quite well due to that role. They go, no, they're not a man, they're the woman, about 80 or so, I think, or 70, the old lady, the High Chancellor, they deal with the Treasury and the tax, very important person. You know what I heard? I think they're the ones behind this tax. After all, they'd benefit from it. It's the Treasury. How much of the Treasury do you think they might be squirreling away for themselves?
Oh my God, government! It's all criminals from top to bottom, right?
Well, I mean, not all of it, of course. The people who advise the Graf are spotless, completely. This is Middenheim, but but the bottom ranks, of course, yes.
Oh yeah, no, not the nobles, the bureaucrats, the leeches.
Exactly, my thoughts exactly. This seems to be a very drunken man who's with a few drunken friends. They're all laughing at him as he talks to you. But yes, but I think I heard she. I wouldn't be surprised if she was down at the College of Music. They're doing an awful lot of fine operas. Are you an opera man?
I can be under the right circumstances.
I tell you what, on the very last day of the festival, I hear they're going to put on an extra performance of the Ring of Nibelungen Lied. Both parts.
Oh, is that a personal favorite?
Yes. I'm quite an opera aficionado. Someone else says, he's never even seen that one. Oh, hush, Gunther, hush. No, I have. It's very, very good, very long. Very long.
Oh, the longer the better, right?
Thank you. But yes, no, I mean, I suppose you'd find them there, but I mean, as the High Chancellor, you're probably not going to get to say hello. Are you a merchant? You have the look of a merchant, or, a mercenary, or an entourage. Are you part of an entourage? Could you make an introduction? Oh.
Mercenaries are a very blunt word. I'm an efficient warrior in need of service, and where better to find that than either on the recommendation of a powerful person or perhaps at this opera.
Indeed. But again, if you're really looking for them, they could be at any of the events. You're not local, are you? In the festival, a lot of officials attend a lot of the events, you see. It's very important that they're seeing the idea of the festival being that everyone mingles together, Have you had a drink? Have you tried? This is a very fine brandy, by the way. I like it. You should meet my friends.
I'm happy to gossip with this person as long as it takes. Heinrich turned down a drink? No.
Well, there you go, and you've amassed a few things on that roll then, that they might attend places like the Royal College of Music's operas, which you'd find they are hosting those almost every day, although that last opera apparently is on the very last day. They have offices at the Guild of Legalists, which would make sense for someone like that, you suppose. But otherwise, the only problem is their home apparently is the palace. And at this moment in time, you think you're not quite savvy enough to be able to sneak around the palace of the Graf himself. You think there'll be an awful lot of guards and an awful lot of security around there. But that apparently, sadly, is where they live. It seems apparently quite a lot of officials actually have rooms at the palace.
I am happy to reconvene with my compatriots and share this information, of course, while pretty buzzed.
College of Music? Well, that sounds interesting.
Oh yeah, he's talking about this, the opera with and I'm going to butcher the name because I didn't quite get it, but Heinrich will definitely butcher the name because he's never heard of it before in his entire life.
Indeed. You have no idea what he's talking about, but it sounds like an opera name. Something about someone fingering. A finger.
Huh.
And they do this on stage?
It's what the guy, it's what he said. And they sing while they do it.
I have heard of shows like this, but I honestly didn't think that in a place as reputable as this, there would be some kind of live, well...
They, must be the festival, yeah.
I suppose they work the performers like puppets. Huh, interesting.
You also did get a description. An elderly woman, long since grey hair, very low-key dress style, but they would also apparently have something on them like a badge that is the High Chancellor's badge, so they would look like someone important.
So here's what we do, right? We go to the opera. And if you're a famous person and you're at the opera, you have somebody who like goes and gets you your drink and stuff, right? And that person is probably your servant, and we're looking for the Chancellor's servant, right?
Yeah, that sounds like a plan.
Yes. Yeah.
What say you? Shall we go and enjoy a night at the opera?
For me, oh no, because the person said they could go to any of the operas. We don't know for sure that she's going to go to the Nibblefinger.
You definitely don't. In fact, you remember she said that was at the end of the week, so that would be in another 6 days. So you could always go, but there's no guarantee that there'll be anyone there tonight.
But what we can do, I mean, short of anything else to do, we can at least pass by when it's starting up, because presumably the most important guests will be admitted entry first, and we'll at least see them, and we don't have to stick around for the whole thing. We just have to see who goes in.
Good idea.
I've not been to many performances in my life, in fact, probably none, but I have read that at large events you will get nobles announced. So they will say something, and now arriving in the expensive seats, Lord Fingerdorf.
How fitting.
And then if they don't show up, we move on to the next thing.
Exactly.
It's a plan.
I should also mention, and then I will communicate the bit about the Guild of the Legalists and the other possibilities.
That's good to know. Let's try the opera first, and then perhaps we can check out those other places in case we have no luck there.
Then you'll begin making your way to the district where the Royal College of Music is. But on the way to the district, you then suddenly notice, Sigfreda, there are some posters being put up. Just as you're about to approach the street where you assume the main street you've been told would lead to the College of Music, and there's a lot of posters being up and a lot of people turning away, and you, being the one who could read, will simply say, "Sorry for the inconvenience, but due to an incident, the College of Music is closed tonight. Worry not, things will resume again tomorrow." Something's happened, and it seems the Royal College of Music's performances will not be occurring tonight, but instead, well, hopefully from tomorrow.
An incident? I'll try and ask around, see if I can find out what happened. Was someone murdered there or something?
A young woman kind of looks at you and giggles. Murdered? Oh my, scandalous! No, I heard the head opera is having a bit of apparently there's an affair going on between two of the main divas, and there's been a bit of a scandal, and someone threw a candlestick at someone, and it's all very exciting, but yes, they closed it down for tonight.
Oh, that does sound scandalous.
But yes, according to the sign, from tomorrow it will resume as expected.
I guess we have no choice but to try to enjoy the night.
Well, we shouldn't regret that, should we, Erica? No, we should be happy to actually enjoy our brief time when we're not getting stabbed or shot or chased.
Let's go get drunk.
Well, I mean, that's an option, isn't it? Let's go to a restaurant before we get drunk. I understand there's a wonderful restaurant called the Man of War. It's near where I picked Erica up. Lovely thing. And they even allow animals inside. And why not have, before we just drown our sorrows, why not feed them first?
Good idea.
We can always get drunk at home. When's the next time we're going to be able to get a good meal?
Exactly. We've been subsisting off of base meals, which I understand the reason why, for quite a long time, but it would be enjoyable to have something a little more refreshing.
Indeed. Well, let's go.
Indeed, and as Sigfreda has pointed out, there is a very fine place called the Man of War in that area, with fine food, plenty of company and joy and happiness, and tonight, very good prices for those foods. You think you can get a king's meal for a gold crown for each, all three of you should cover that. And you will eat and drink. Kruger, how are we feeling? You keep looking around, but no one's watching you. No one's chasing you. You've gone for a whole day and no one has tried to assassinate you or kill you. You haven't even seen any suspicious cultists. It's almost as if life is continuing for you, in a way.
It's been a good day. If every day could be like this, then... well, life would be good, wouldn't it? Well, let's enjoy tonight, then. Plenty of time to worry tomorrow.
Sigfreda, the food is good, the company is good, and you have a new friend. She's very keen to share some of your food, which you do note does mean you need to order a bit more. That is something you realise you'll have to take into account in the future. A slight increase in your food expenses.
Well, that's all right, because I'll be feeding Erica from some choice scraps that aren't even scraps, some nice cuts of meat. Yes, we're not going to overdo it, but this is her first day with me, so let's cement that feeling of affection with a damn good meal for a dog as well.
And finally, Heinrich, you're here, enjoying a meal, and this time a meal that hopefully fits your standards. In good company, and everyone around you is in good spirits. How are you feeling about the day? You maybe even learnt how the criminal underworld works. Apparently, it was just a case of giving people lots of money.
That is exactly the lesson that Heinrich has learned. And in between asking questions about dogs, for one, I can't have dogs on ships, cats occasionally, but not dogs. So in between asking important dog questions and about dog anatomy and dog hygiene and dog living, interrogating Kruger about the differences between this and the known underworld as it goes. Of course, being very what Heinrich assumes is subtle, but might not be subtle about it. But despite the trappings, I suppose, and the quality of the meal, it feels about as close as it ever has to the meals on the river when the crew is just being a good, jolly, found family together. That's a good feeling.
It is. And for the first time in a while, all three of you have an evening of actual genuine comfort and warmth. It's so warm in here, you don't even notice that outside, snow has begun to fall. There is a chill in the air. But for now, our three travelling friends do not notice it. For now.
You have listened to an episode of Red Moon Roleplaying, where we play the legendary campaign The Enemy Within for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th Edition, published by Cubicle 7. In this third part of the series, we are tackling Power Behind the Throne. Joining us as players in this series are none other than Aaron Hammonds from Queen's Court Games and our dear friend Matthew Dawkins. The music was made by Flowers for Body Snatchers, Wordclock, Metatron Omega, Aegersonus, Apocryphus, Halgrath, and Northumbria, featuring a number of collaborations with other artists, and was used with permission from their label Cryochamber. Check out their website at cryochamber.bandcamp.com or their YouTube channel for some moody dark ambient for your gaming table. We would like to give massive thanks to our champions of the Red Moon, Martin Heuschober, Simon Cooper, David, Julia, Camilla, Bob Lange, Cameron, Antxon, and Graham Barey for their generous support. And we'd of course also like to thank all of our other patrons. Without your support, the show would not be possible. If you want to support our work, please check us out on Patreon. You can get access to bonus campaigns for Cult of Indy Lost and Coriolis there, as well as get early and raw access to all of our recordings. You can also hear your name read on the show as a champion of the Red Moon, as well as play Cult with us. Most importantly, that support is what keeps the show going, so do check us out there. Thank you again for listening, and remember that Skaven are definitely not real. Except, well, who's going to believe you? Never mind.